Are visitors to blame for a month-long spike in COVID cases? Health officials go myth-busting. Phil Lindemann with your news from Avalanche Physical Therapy on Krystal 93. First, public health officials confirm an outbreak of COVID-19 at Briar Rose Chop House in Breckenridge, the 6th local outbreak in the past 30 days and 12th since March. 2 employees have tested positive since October 1st, and several more are in quarantine, forcing the restaurant to limit hours. Public Health Director Amy Wineland explains most likely what happened.
Staff staying after shifts to end the day with a beer with their colleagues after customers and patrons have left without their masks.
The county is investigating. They do not believe any customers were infected. The Briar Rose outbreak is an example of behavior Wineland calls risky, pushing Summit's COVID caseload past the state threshold.
We actually are meeting the metrics for taking a step backwards right now. We're at 196 per 100,000. The cutoff for that higher level 3 of safer at home is 175 per 100,000.
We've got 2 weeks to show declining caseload before the state steps in.
If we continue to have these high numbers for the next 2 weeks, we will be having to have a consultation with CDPHE to identify any additional mitigation steps that we can take.
New rules might include limits on gatherings and restaurant capacity, similar to shutdown in April. Wineland and County Commissioner Elizabeth Lawrence answered your questions last night at a virtual town hall, and everyone wanted to know about the tourist effect.
We're living with this virus all the time at this point. It's everywhere. It's not just in Texas or Florida. It's in our communities. It's here. It's something that we could get attending a neighborhood gathering as well as when we travel somewhere else.
Summit saw near record traffic on I-70 from mid-July through late September, and tax data shows August outperformed last year in every local town. And yet,
even given the huge number of visitors that we had this whole summer, we really did not see a huge spike in our residential case numbers.
The county's COVID dashboard does not include sick visitors, but contact tracing and data from Centura shows no link between tourists and local caseload.
We've been so fortunate to have low cases all summer long. I think people are just thinking that we're in a bubble here in the county, and that's certainly not the case.
Wineland reminds locals that COVID recovery is a marathon, and we have not even seen the finish line. Nearly 132,000 vehicles passed through both sides of the Eisenhower Tunnel this past weekend, Friday through Sunday, down 8% from the previous weekend, down 5% compared to the same weekend last year, which set a record for October travel. Average daily traffic this weekend was 44,000 vehicles. Before last year, the October daily average rarely rose above 31,000. That is Eddie Van Halen tearing it up live on the solo for Eruption. Multiple agencies confirm Van Halen died today after a long battle with cancer. He was 65. Van Halen told Rolling Stone he never learned scales and could hardly read music. His namesake band debuted in 1977. His final live appearance was in 2015 for a reunion tour with David Lee Roth. In local sports, brought to you by American Family Insurance, the Weiss Agency. After day 1 of the state golf tournament yesterday, the Summit High team is in 7th out of 10 teams. Day 2 is happening now in Colorado Springs. Tune in tomorrow for individual and team scores. And Tigers Cross Country is getting ready for regionals this week, held Thursday at Gypsum Creek Golf Course in Gypsum. Phil Lindemann with your news from Avalanche Physical Therapy on Krystal 93.